Okay, so some of the bits and pieces that I tend to use for axe care are going to be recycled boot laces. So I've got an old set of boots here, which are no more. They've seen a lot of action and they're done. They're off to the boot heaven in the sky, but I've pinched the laces out of them and we're going to need those. Everything I try to do generally has two purposes, or is multi-purpose. Okay, so when it comes to protecting the head here and stopping this chipping from happening again, what I tend to do is take one of these laces here, one of these old laces, just undo this like that, and I'm going to create a wrap around the head. Okay, it's like this. So I'm going to create this protective wrap around the head of the axe. Okay, I'm going to go round and round and round and round and round until this whole thing is kind of concertinaed up underneath here and wrapped around. It's going to give it a bit of a spongy layer as well if it does miss and glance off and hit something. But then we're going to go one step further than that. So let's get on, we'll just wrap this up and then I'll show you the next stage. Okay, and what you should have is something like this. So that's all nice and tightly bound on there. That's not going anywhere in a hurry. And should you miss and it glances off, it's gonna suck up some of the energy. But we're gonna go a step further, and I'm gonna use something called amalgamating tape. Now this is pretty cool. It's like I think you can get it from electrical stores. It's got a cover on the top you need to take off. Okay, and this stuff is like it is like a rubber. It's a stretchy rubber membrane. Okay, it's very soft, but it sticks to itself, which is fantastic for what we now want it for. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around the head here. So to get it started, what you want to be doing is pinning it with a thumb. Like so, and just get your first couple of turns on there, and you can see that it's going to take on the profile of the stuff underneath, which is the lace. Okay, so it's absolutely fantastic material really to be using. Oh, that's just popped off. Let's try that again. So this is why you need to get that first couple on there, pinned with the thumb and turn. And then once you've got the first couple on, you're away. See whether they can get that one to come round. There we go. Okay, and you can give this a good double, triple layer. I don't think this tape is overly expensive from memory, but you can give this a good double, triple layer, and grip is it's phenomenal. By far its biggest strength, this tape, is the fact that it gives it most incredible grip. We used to use this in the Royal Marines for if you're going to be doing something like non-compliant boardings on ships, anything to do with waterborne activities. This tape will generally find its way onto equipment, maybe the handle or the grip of the assault rifle or weapon system that you're using. This would have great application and get used in those sort of instances as well. A lot of lads used to use these on their pistol grips. So there we go. That's almost one way round. So I'll triple layer this up, and then to break it off, all you do is just break it like that, and it's as simple, and it will literally bite down on itself, so there's no loose ends. Okay, so very, very basically, that's one layer. I'll probably give it 3, and then we'll move on to what we do down here to secure it at the base. Okay, so here we go. It's had a couple of layers now, and it's all holding nicely. I'll just pop the head off so you can see that a bit better. At the next stage, to get it to look like this is exactly the same treatment and process. I have found the best thing you want to be using is a fabric-based tape, just to make it join into the haft here. Okay, so what we really want to do is use, I've only got a tiny amount of this left. Now this is just, comes out of first aid kit, pretty billy basic fabric tape that you can get hold of. Or, in a pinch, you can use zinc oxide tape. That also works quite well. This one's a manky one that came out of the bottom of a med kit, which I normally use for foot care and blisters and things like that. Not that I suffer from those anymore, hence the tape has been in the bag for so long. If you can get hold of it, this works great as well. Now there'll be people screaming at the computer screens right now, ex-armed forces, oh, sniper tape, what a waste of sniper tape application, because when you were serving, this was like hen's teeth to get hold of. Well, guess what? You can buy it on the internet now. It's available. It's not some kind of highly prized secretive item anymore. And it's exactly the same. It's a fabric based tape. You can rip it, you can strip it, you can cut it down into different sizes and bits and pieces. If you are going to go for something this thick, I would probably advise actually cutting it down, and you're going to get something that's very similar to that width. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to run this around the base of the axe a few times just to finish this off. Okay, we'll use the slightly larger of the two. Again, pin it with a thumb. Now, I'm starting half on there and half on the haft, okay? So, and I'm just going to bring that round. Might be easier to show you this way. Tension is key. If you keep the tension on this, you'll get rid of all those nasty crinkles and bobbles, but they are going to happen, because guess what? It's not all perfect. You'll have to just, for those of you who struggle with the OCD out there, and it is a real thing, you'll just have to kind of grin and bear it a little bit. But remember what it's about. Is it supposed to look beautiful, or is it actually, it's got a job role. It's got a job to do here, so it's not all about looking beautiful. All right, that will probably do. So you can see 2 of them are now protected underneath. Okay, so moving away now from caring for the underneath of the head and where it can get glanced and damaged, another pretty obvious thing to do to look after an axe would be to oil it. So there's lots and lots of videos out there on the internet. I've had a brief look before I made this, and I can see people talking about all kinds of different bits and pieces. What you do at home and what you do in the main camp is very different to what you do when you're out in the middle of the woods. So stuff you can use at home, you can maybe get yourself a nice luxury soft piece of cloth or tissue, and maybe a nice, what we got here, I've got some nut oil. This is a hazelnut oil I've had in the cupboard from France from a few years ago, okay? And you can liberally just give this a nice, I say liberally actually, give it a nice light coating so that kind of really goes in there. Hello, if you've just tuned in, I'm Nick Goldsmith from Hidden Valley Bushcraft, and I'm just whizzing you through axe care and maintenance today. We're just literally in the process of oiling, okay, the shaft on this little small Gransfors Forest axe, which we've already applied a bit of protection to for its everyday use in the camp. Okay, so before I get on to sharpening and maintaining the head really quickly, I'm going to move on to the sheath that it comes with, and that's pretty much a Billy Basic 101. All you're going to do there is grab some shoe polish. Okay, this is Kiwi shoe polish, and I've gone for the dark tan colour because I feel it best matches the colours that come with these. And then a half decent brush, any brush will do. You could even use an old toothbrush if you want to recycle. Okay, just give this a nice coating and a bit of love and care. Okay, these are items that work outdoors daily, and as such, deserve a bit of looking after. So okay, so it literally is as simple as that. Let that get into it and soak in there. So I'll just pop this to one side. Okay, shoe polish treatment done. And this is the same way I'm going to care for all the axes I've shown you in today's video. And we'll move on to the good stuff. Okay, so looking at the edge here now, if you watch our video on knife sharpening, you'll know a little bit more about this process. But all I'm looking for is any chips or dings or anything I don't like the look of in here. Now actually this looks pretty uniform and it's gripping my finger nicely and it's pretty sharp. Nevertheless, it's probably worth going ahead. Now, you can use a number of different files for this. I haven't found anyone to be any better or any worse, other than just to say that it wants to be a fine file. Gransfors Bruks actually do their very own little handy file for axes. Now, unlike a knife, where we're moving the knife around the stone, what I tend to use here is I tend to try and clamp or hold the axe head in one position and then drive the file down either side in the same direction and just give it a couple of strokes, and that really brings that edge back up. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take the stone that I keep inside my knife sheath, which is It's either a DC4 or a CD4, I'm trying to remember, by Falconivan. I'll put a link in there below. And I hold it end to end, and I just do circular motions down the edge there, just to really bring it back up. Guys, if you make your axe so incredibly sharp you can shave with it, you go absolutely bananas with this thing and kind of really change its profile down and make it really shallow, a bit more like the Swedish carving axe, you run the risk of, during heavy work, of chipping it or breaking it or bits falling off, or so got to remember what it's for. It has a heavy convex rounded head because it's designed to come down with speed and bust open wood grain. So just always have that in the back of your mind. But nevertheless, you should try and keep it to a decent sharp standard, but it doesn't have to be a samurai sword. Okay, so the last thing you want to really kind of go ahead and do is look after the metalwork so that it doesn't rust or start to incur damage through being in the elements. Now, you could of course just use your oil. There's nothing wrong with that. Just wiping the oil over the top there, that's fine, unless you're going to take oil out into the field with you. If you check out my video on what I carry in my EDC pack, you will probably have noticed this Trex in this little pot. So you can find this stuff in the crisp and dry area, or the oil and butters and fats in your local superstore, certainly here in the UK. Because it's neither made from animal nor dairy, it doesn't seem to break down or change shape or size or anything. It's kind of a vegetable, I think it's a vegetable byproduct of making vegetable oil. So this stuff's great. So not only can I use it for wiping in the bottom of a pan and cooking with, okay, I could use it in lip salve in cold dry weather like this, or I could of course use it for tool care and just give that a nice light coating all the way around the outside there. So it's got those kind of like three-way properties, which a lot of stuff just won't do for you. If you think about it, you use your Vaseline, you can put that on your lips and you can put it on your tools, but can you put Vaseline, use Vaseline for cooking? Not likely. So this is kind of your all-round winner here, and just really seal that head and make sure you go over the eye. So that is now absolutely cared for and good to go in my eyes. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and stick the head back on there. That is ready for life 2021, getting used in main camp by myself and clients and whoever else gets their hands on it. Okay, cool, so there we go. Our newest member of the HVB team is going to take you through some of the things that we've discussed today. Daddy's axe, yes, correct. Well done.